Thank you so much for staying tuned to this amazing episode. We are talking about emotional eating. And you might be there and you're wondering what this is. If you're just joining us, we've just talked about how emotional eating can stem from a young age. Where let's say you've fallen down and your mom, instead of encouraging you or helping you deal with your emotions or something like that, they give you food, they give you a sweet, and now you cope with your emotions by having food all the time. Not necessarily because you're hungry, but because that's what will help you, or that's what you think will help you. And to discuss this with us, we have a woman of God, Lucy. Thank you for coming. So let's continue our discussion and talk about how to break the cycle of emotional eating.
Yes, first of all, how we can break our emotional eating is by first practicing the mindfulness.
Yeah.
What I mean by this is you be cautious on how you eat.
Mm-hmm.
You be cautious on how you're dealing with your food.
Mm-hmm.
So the best, and something else is so acknowledging your emotions.
Mm-hmm.
When all these things come, what do you do?
Yeah.
So what happens is you can do the journaling.
Mm-hmm.
When you feel like the emotions are just too much
Wow,
with
that's
you,
a good idea.
you can do journaling. You can also practice something called 3-3 rule.
Mm-hmm.
The 3-3 rule is you can maybe touch on something that you see near you. You can touch the three things that you can see, look at the three things that you see, and you can also try to listen to the three things that you hear. Though that will help to distract your thoughts so that you can now bump it to what your mind was telling you to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
So journaling.
Yes.
And the 3-3 rule.
Yes, journaling is part of your 3-3 rule.
Oh,
is
okay.
Practicing the mindfulness.
Oh, okay.
What like you can have a food diary. The food diary is now to start, like nowadays there are so many journals out here.
Mm-hmm.
They are even asking you how many glasses of water did
Have
you
you
take.
Oh, wow.
Yes, have you taken? Yeah. So such things will
Mm-hmm.
help you,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, to keep track of you
Yeah.
eating.
Let me ask, this is a bit we're deviating a bit. Do you think it's possible for someone who has emotional eating to go on a diet? Is it possible for them?
Actually, for those who does the diet thing,
Mm-hmm.
they're the one who falls fast
Really?
to the emotional
That's
eating.
quite interesting.
Yes,
Tell us
because
about that.
now what will be happening is that what you're restricted from is the big chunk of ugali, the big chunk of githeri. So what you run to first of all is what?
A snack.
Is a snack.
Mm.
You end up, because now you're hungry, and also there is something happening in your mind.
Yeah.
You end up doing what? Eating the entire cake.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. So you have to be very careful when you're on a diet.
Definitely.
Wow, interesting.
That's why actually the journaling and also the mindfulness is very important.
Is important.
Yes.
What are some of the foods commonly associated with emotional eating?
They are the junk food, definitely.
Yeah.
But mostly there will be those sugary, salty, and the fatty foods.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Why can't it just be a healthy food like an apple?
You see, umezoea tu and again, it won't ask you for something that you've always been having.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's why we said there are three components of mind. So if id wins, which is now, the id is the one that asks for the gratification. If it wins, if it surpasses the ego, which the ego is the reality. Now, yeah, I'm here eating. If, you will definitely eat. And now again, the super ego, it's the one now to tell you, are you doing the right thing? You and all these two, they are surpassed by the id, which is we want to be gratified.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, before we talk about some self-help tools we can use, maybe you can tell us about professional help. Are there people who can help people who are in this kind of situation?
The self-help, yes, they are there. You can have a support system from your home, can be your brother, can be your sister, can be your sibling, can be your friend. And also, you can also do it yourself.
Yes.
Through the self-affirmations.
Okay.
You tell yourself, yes, I'm worthy, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. You know, you practice these things. Here comes again the journaling.
Yes.
Those are the self-help that you can deal with. Okay, there are other many, but these are the closer ones that you can really tackle when you're in such a situation.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, let's say I'm having emotional eating disorder, emotional tumeita nini? Emotional eating.
It's not a disorder.
It's not a disorder.
Yes.
But let's say I'm an emotional eater, and I'm in a house with someone who's constantly just enabling me, buying me whatever I want. What kind of support should I get from such a person?
First of all, you need to come to self-realization.
Yeah.
Remember now, this is a social influence. You also need to keep track of yourself.
Okay.
When you're asking for them, are you asking for you to satisfy your hunger, or are you asking them to hide some emotions? Yes.
But Sasa, as a person who let's say I'm living with someone who has this emotional eating. How am I supposed to help them?
Or you yourself.
Yes.
You first of all, that's why I said you are the support system.
Yes.
You need to make them aware that this is happening.
Yeah.
You also need to look for ways on how to handle this together with the person. And that's when I said you can keep that food diary. You if especially if they are men that maybe wants to build up, or he wants to do something, you need to show them, no, jana ulikula this. Okay, you can actually start doing them yourself before now they start accepting it and working on them.
Is it possible for an emotional eater to not know the extent of their eating?
Yes, of course.
Wow.
Yes.
They can just be eating without knowing.
Yes, and that's where now the support system comes in. They need to be told by someone else. Whatever you're doing, it's just the same way, like I gave you an analogy before, that when you get angry and you're shouting, someone else is the one who tells, why were you shouting?
You are shouting,
at me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, it's like bad breath. You don't know you have it, but other people know.
And you yourself, you're very comfortable.
Yeah. I think maybe you will start noticing when you're gaining weight and you're like, oh wait, something's happening.
Yeah, that's where I said now the shame starts coming in, because now the reality part of it has come.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. What is the importance of self-compassion?
Well, first of all, is to learn how to control your emotions.
Yeah.
You need to learn how to control your emotions. Also building your resilience, the bouncing back, and also being assertive on how you make your decisions.
You need to be assertive.
Yes.
I like that, especially for people who are emotional eaters. If you're not assertive, if you don't have that trait, you can go to extremes.
Definitely. Yeah. And now it will bring you back to the health condition.
Talk to us about setting boundaries for yourself.
Okay. Well, okay.
Because when you realize you're an emotional eater, boundaries is a must.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, first of all, the first key is you being assertive.
Yeah.
How do you make your decision? If now I feel, yes, this is happening to me. When I'm angry, I really feel. Or when I'm bored, it's not only when you're angry. When you're bored, you will think of now watching the TV. And you feel, when I'm watching the TV, I as Lucy, I still not haingi, there's something missing. Only because I am, maybe there's something happening to me. I'm stressed, let's say. So I'll go get a pack of popcorns. I will tell myself, because it's almost lunch hour, I'll just get a handful of it. Yeah, and then I end up having the entire kg or even another one. Maybe in economy as a whole week, I end up finishing them. So how do you set your boundaries? First of all, you need to be aware of your emotions. When you are aware of your emotions, it's now possible for you to set boundaries, because now you know, if I am watching that movie, I can just get a handful and work on myself.
Yes. You know, that has reminded me that this could actually also affect your finances.
Definitely.
Because I don't have emotional eating, but when I'm hungry and I'm in the supermarket, I tend to buy more. Because I'm hungry, I'm like, oh, I need to buy so that I can eat later, I can imagine if you're stressed and you're an emotional eater and you're in the supermarket, you're going to do the same thing, right?
Yeah, because you even don't have control. You end up, when you're in the house now, this is what we call impulsive buying.
Yeah.
You're like, why did I? When you come to self-realization, you're like, why did I buy all this?
Yes.
Yeah. Or maybe this cash was for I'll buy for shopping, and this other one I will do something.
Some snacks.
Maybe I'll go, and even the rest of the cash I'll go to the market. You
Yes.
end up all the cash that you had, you bought the
Stuff.
snack. Yeah.
Wow. Be careful out there. Not only affects your health, but also affects your finances.
Yes, of course.
Now, you mentioned to me earlier that emotional eating is not a disorder.
Yes.
Please explain that.
First of all, I want everybody to know that the study shows 75% of our eating is emotional eating.
Wow.
Yes.
Not because it's lunchtime?
For example, let's say you're just somewhere seated and you're waiting for someone. Okay, let me eat this cake. And then when you are going like this, you end up finding like a fruit. Then, so it's not something that is wrong.
Wow.
What happens, what matters is how you handle that habit. How are you aware of what is happening to you? So emotional eating, I would want to make it clear, is that it's not a disorder.
Okay.
Emotional eating is a symptom of eating disorder.
Okay.
It can be bulimia, it can be what do you call this? The eating that, sorry.
It's okay. I know there's anorexia, that's the one I know.
Yes, there's anorexia. There's like we just said, there's binge eating.
There's binge. Oh, binge eating is a disorder.
Yes, binge eating is a disorder.
Hey, for real?
Yes, actually it's the highest symptom. Emotional eating is the highest symptom for binge eating.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. Binge eating is actually a disorder.
Yes, it's a disorder.
Okay, I'm not a binge eater, but
okay, what happens? Okay, we just not like affirm to ourselves that it's when you eat, when you're doing all this, that you binge, when you're doing binge eating, you have a disorder.
Yeah.
No, there are clinical tests that are normally handled for you to be affirmed or to be announced that you have this eating disorder.
Okay, that makes sense.
People should not be worried.
Yes, start diagnosing themselves. Don't diagnose yourself.
Yes, don't diagnose yourself.
There are some tests you can take.
Yes.
Okay, before you do your parting shot, you've said that 75% of our eating is emotional eating, and me nimejiambia hapo I'm not an emotional eater. I could be now an emotional eater, because when you're waiting for someone, it's true, I may decide to just enter a hotel somewhere, grab something,
snack,
and go. Maybe you can tell us, has this ever affected you?
Remember, I'm a woman.
Yes.
Yes.
Has it affected
to me so many
and
times.
how did you deal with it?
Actually, let me give an analogy of myself.
Yes.
When we were dating with my husband, he found me eating digestive biscuits.
For the first time he saw you?
Yes.
Okay.
And actually, the first thing he could notice with, like in me, even in my handbag, is the
the box.
Yes, is a box. Like all the time, I have this. I have the digestive biscuit. And what happened?
Akapata kitu.
Yes.
Contagious.
So, it's contagious, yeah. So we both started eating what?
Digestive.
The digestive, like even before we do anything, even when waking up, you just have to
have a
digestive. Or even when he calls me, he's like, umemaliza biscuit zako?
Hey, okay, yo sasa ni le.
So yes, being a woman, yes, it has happened to me so much.
Yeah.
Is until when I realize, remember the health condition, what it can cause you. I start now feeling like, what's happening with my tooth? And then when I go to the dentist, they're like, do you take a lot of sugary stuff? I'm like, no. And then he's like, where? After sayenda kwa bagi yake uone it's full of digestive biscuits.
Yeah.
So that's when now you become aware of what is happening with you. But to be clear is that I didn't know if I was really fighting over something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, now I'm thinking about the digestive, the chocolate on top. That's what I'm thinking about. But thank you so much for coming. Maybe you can give us very briefly your parting shot before we close.
Yes, my parting shot will be, first of all, I would like to tell people that it's good to, it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to reach for a counselor, because most of the time people are fearing to reach, like the counselors, because they think that the counselors are there. They only handle people who are
mental
illness, yes. So, or not mentally okay. So, what I would advise, let's first of all be self-aware. Let's learn to take track of our emotions. Yes.
Wow, it's okay to reach out to a counselor. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank
That was
you
quite
too.
an interesting show. I've learned a lot. Thank you for staying tuned. I know this has been a blessing to you. We'll see you same time, same place next time. Have a great rest of your week.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
She's a virtuous